My guest today is the Emmy, Tony, and Grammy-winning actor, singer, and songwriter Ben Platt. On film, you will have seen Ben in Pitch Perfect, on TV in The Politician, and on Broadway, The Book of Mormon, and Dear Evan Hansen. So until just a few years ago, the idea of an actor being out was just unthinkable for me growing up. I sensed that Jodie Foster was like me, but I never knew that. She obviously only came out a few years ago. So many actors had to stay in the closet because they were told and felt that the public knowing that they were gay would at best pigeonhole them, at worst kill their career. What was the terrain for you when you came out in 2019, Ben, and what impact, if any, did it have on your career?
I came out when I was 12 in terms of like actually coming out to people around me and my family and friends. And so I felt very much, proud and open from a very young age, thankfully, because of my, wonderful family and the fact that I got to grow up in a great liberal bubble that is Los Angeles. But I think in terms of the publicness of it, it was the first time I was going to release original music and make, music videos and express my own perspective and my own story. And that's my queerness is an irrevocable part of that. And to edit that out seemed so disingenuous. As a singer and as an actor and comedian, what have you, the queerness totally informs what I do. And so I feel like hiding that would be a detriment to my abilities. And obviously, I've experienced a bit of the limitations that come along with that in terms of certain roles that people don't necessarily see me in because they know, that I'm a queer person or, certain, romantic leads or action things or, just stuff that's a little still stilted. But I do see that all heading in the right direction. And I'm making a film in the fall called The People We Hate at the Wedding, where I get to play a gay character. And I'm just excited to see that there's that consciousness. So I think that the direction seems to be the right one.
Are you comfortable to paint me a picture, Ben, of when you were 12 and coming out to your parents? What happened? How did you do it? What did it look like?
Totally. So I was on a class trip, like a week-long class trip in eighth grade. And I was on the bus. And I had kind of told some of my friends, or I sort of alluded to it with some of my girlfriends, obviously mostly girlfriends. And there was a kid who this information got to him, and he was speaking loudly and kind of sharing with everybody, saying that like, Ben is so lucky because he's gay, so that means he gets to hang out with all the girls, and like they let him like hang with them in their hotel room, and like he gets to know all this like all their like gossip and stuff. And it wasn't really even a bullying situation. It wasn't derogatory. He was just that's very truthful, and that was the truth. My girls were like, my homies, and they would tell me everything. And I think he was just honestly jealous. But unfortunately, the chaperone of the trip overheard, and she thought that it was like him like bullying me or being, derogatory. And so she was going to call my parents and let them know and deal with it in that way. And I was like, you know what, we actually haven't even broached this, my parents and I. So let me get up ahead of it and let me be the one to talk about it. And so I called them from the trip and, I said, I have to tell you something. And my mom immediately said, oh, is this about your sexuality? And I said, you're certainly right. And she said, well, we know, you spent most of your childhood dressed as Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. We're not that surprised. And it was very innocuous and just very, they seemed to already have an idea. And they said, you're quite young. And if this changes, great. And if it doesn't, great. And we kind of left it at that and never really had to speak much about it after that. And I know that's an incredibly privileged situation compared to how a lot of people have to deal with coming out. And I can only hope that we're headed towards the point where it is that kind of non-event for everyone.